all throughout U.S. history, the IRS has been used as a bludgeon, a political bludgeon, to go after your enemies, to go after people that you find undesirable and unfavorable.
With that, Dane, let's move on to a lighter topic. The IRS, and how apropos, because it is tax season.
It's very close. What is today? Today is April the 8th. We are 10 days away from Theft Day.
So you better figure your shit out if you haven't started. Maybe you want to download some QuickBooks or
and if you haven't figured it out and you undershoot it a little bit, your reward is a cage.
No, Dane. All those 87,000 new employees are definitely going to be going after the big banks, the people that are the big companies that have been using their technical lawyer teams that they pay probably millions of dollars to find every little nook and cranny they can save money. They're going after them, Dane. They will never show up on your doorstep.
And of course not. Now, we covered this back in the day when a few months ago, when it was 87,000.
We're not young enough to say shit like that anymore.
When it was 87,000 IRS agents, and they say, "Oh, we're only going after the wealthy," and we mocked it then, and we're going to mock it now because they've said some new things on that topic that we just think is hilarious. Well, first of all, if you remember that those 87,000 new IRS agents is a result of the Inflation Reduction Act getting passed largely along party lines. Democrats voted for it, Republicans against, but it got through. And what it did, in part, many things that it did, everything except actually reduce inflation, is give another $80 billion to the IRS to beef up staffing and send more goons to your door to demand more of your paycheck.
Armed goons, by the way.
Yes, because
Let's not forget.
Everybody knows a little pencil-necked, dork working at the IRS is definitely highly trained and needs to have a firearm. So that $80 billion is supposed to be doled out to the IRS over the next 10 years. And in exchange, the IRS is going to take in an additional $100 billion. So a net of $20 billion over the next decade. And that net $20 billion, that 100 in total, is only going to come from the rich, don't you see? In fact, we have a quote from new IRS Commissioner Danny Werfel, not the Danny Werfel, not Heisman Trophy winner from the University of Florida, Danny Werfel, but some other Danny Werfel who is, again, a pencil-neck dweeb that's running the IRS. And he says, quote, "People who get W-2s, so a damn lot of us, or Social Security payments, or have a small business should not be worried about some new wave of IRS audits. We're taking that off the table," he added.
Every time a government official says you don't need to be worried, again, track back. Every bill that's signed, the Patriot Act, the Freedom Act, whatever the fuck they're saying that you don't need to be doing, like Dane just said, no, we're not controlling Twitter. It turns out they're controlling Twitter. So they just tell you what they're going after, but then they're like, don't worry about it.
It's like Reagan's the scariest phrase is, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help," kind of
thing. It's like they disarm you right before they punch you in the fucking jaw. Anyway, Go ahead, Dane.
So that's their claim. And again, it's the same as what we talked about before is, we're only going after the rich. We're not going after you. I mean, again,
define rich.
It
rich
is
in geopolitical terms, because most people in America are rich. If you make over $30,000, you are in the top 1% of the world income. So technically they are only going after the rich, if you look at it that way.
It takes a massive suspension of credulity to believe anything that these people say anymore. But, our Epstein moment with this is look no further than how the IRS has always been weaponized to go after its political opponents, right? They didn't take down Al Capone by catching him on murder charges or drug trafficking or anything like that. They got him on tax evasion. And they didn't go after the Black Panthers or many other groups that protested the Vietnam War during the time by getting them on criminal charges. Some of them did, but many of them, the higher ups, the shot callers, were targeted on tax grounds. Or just a few years ago, the Lois Lerner scandal, where the IRS under the Obama administration was targeting nonprofits that had either right or conservative sounding titles of the nonprofit, or were engaged in nonprofit activities that were deemed on the right or conservative, and was targeting them to remove their nonprofit status. All throughout U.S. history, the IRS has been used as a bludgeon, a political bludgeon, to go after your enemies, to go after people that you find undesirable and unfavorable. And if you think that you are going to escape that just because you are not Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates or Elon Musk, well, you are very sorely mistaken.
You don't know your government.
And yeah, and if you're the lefty that's cheering this because it was passed by a liberal legislature and signed into law by Biden, and it has this cute little title that says Inflation Reduction Act, and you really want to stick it to the rich guy, if you honestly think that, then you are the useful idiot that we all know that you are. You will cheer the tying of your own noose right up until the floor drops out from underneath you.
So, Dane, just to tie this up in a nice little bow, as it is Easter.
Noose knot.
Do you think, yeah, exactly. Do you think Epstein's going to wake up on the third day?
I sure hope the hell not.
Well, he might have some answers.
He's a few years late if he's.
That's what I was thinking. What if you like run into some guy in like a hood and he looks a lot like Epstein?
Dude, this is blasphemy. I'm very offended.
I think it's a.
I'm offended for finding you offensive.
I'm offended for you finding me offensive.
Good job, Eminem. That's where I was going with it.
That's exactly what you're trying to do.